Your life is shaped by the choices you make every single day. One small change can create momentum that transforms everything: your energy, your focus, and the results you get. Today we're exploring practical steps that can shift your entire life by taking action on just one thing at a time. This isn't theory, it's simple, actionable guidance you can start applying right now. Watch closely, because the change you're looking for begins with the choices you make today. Chapter 1. Choose one habit and commit to it daily. Most people overcomplicate change. They believe transformation means completely reinventing every part of their life at once. That's why they give up so easily. The truth is, change starts with something so small that most people overlook it. It starts with one habit. A single, clear choice you decide to stick with every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on around you. You don't need to rewrite your entire life in 1 week. You just need one win, one discipline, one small step you show up for every day. That's the difference between people who talk about change and people who live it. When you choose one habit, you're making a promise to yourself, and that's the first thing you need to understand. This is not about impressing anyone else. It's not about looking good on social media. This is about building trust with yourself. Every time you keep that promise, you prove to yourself that your word means something. That belief in yourself becomes the foundation for every other change you'll make. Think about this. You can't build a strong house on a shaky foundation. And your foundation in life is the set of daily actions you take, not just the big dreams you think about. If you want your life to shift, you must start by choosing a habit that truly matters to you, one that will move you closer to the kind of person you want to become. So, how do you pick that habit? You choose something small enough to be realistic, but meaningful enough to make a difference. If you've been struggling with energy, maybe your habit is drinking enough water every day. If you've been feeling mentally scattered, maybe it's writing down your priorities each morning. If you want to be healthier, maybe it's a 20-minute walk after dinner. The habit doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be consistent. And here's the part that most people ignore. It's not about the first few days. Anyone can be motivated for a week. The real power comes when you keep going after the motivation fades. There will be mornings you don't feel like it. There will be days when you're tired, busy, or stressed. That's when your commitment is tested. If you only keep your habit when it's convenient, you're not building strength, you're staying the same. I want you to picture this clearly. Every day you show up for that habit. You're adding a brick to the foundation of your new life. Day after day, the bricks stack up. At first you might not see a big difference, but give it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, then look back. You'll realize that the person you've become is stronger, more disciplined, and more confident than the person who started. Commitment isn't built on excitement, it's built on follow-through. And the beauty of choosing one habit is that it's not overwhelming. You don't need to change everything at once. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You just need to start. Right now. Today. So decide on your habit. Write it down. Make it specific. Don't just say, "I'll exercise more." Say, "I will do 20 push-ups every morning after I brush my teeth." Don't just say, "I'll read more." Say, "I will read 10 pages every night before bed." The clearer you make it, the easier it is to stick to. And when you start, track it. There's something powerful about seeing your progress in front of you. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up. Even if you miss a day, you don't quit. You don't throw away the progress you've made. You just get back on track the next day. That's what separates people who succeed from people who quit. Now, I'll tell you something important. When you keep one habit for long enough, it changes how you see yourself. If you've been someone who constantly breaks promises to yourself, this is your chance to rewrite that story. You start to see yourself as a person who follows through. That confidence will bleed into other areas of your life without you even trying. You'll naturally start making better choices because you trust yourself to follow through on them. This is how the shift happens. It's not a sudden explosion of change. It's a steady, deliberate build. One habit creates momentum. That momentum creates more good habits. And eventually, you realize your life looks completely different, not because you tried to change everything overnight, but because you mastered the art of sticking to one thing long enough to let it work. You might not believe how much one habit can change you until you experience it yourself. But if you take this seriously, if you commit to that one habit and refuse to let go of it, there will come a day when you look back and think, that was the moment everything started to change. So your challenge is simple. Choose your habit today. Start small. Show up daily. Keep going when it's hard. And watch what happens, not just to your results, but to the person you become. Because once you master one habit, you'll never look at change the same way again. Chapter 2. Remove one negative influence from your environment. If you've ever felt like you're working hard but not moving forward, there's a good chance something in your environment is quietly holding you back. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's a person. Sometimes it's a habit. Sometimes it's a constant distraction that's so normal to you that you stop noticing its impact. But it's there, draining your energy, lowering your standards, and slowing your growth. Here's the truth. You can't expect your life to shift in a big way if you keep surrounding yourself with things that keep you stuck in the same place. If you want to make progress, you have to create the right environment for that progress to happen. And that starts with removing at least one negative influence from your life. A negative influence can take many forms. It could be a friend who constantly complains, making every conversation feel heavy and unproductive. It could be a coworker who subtly discourages your ambitions, telling you your goals are unrealistic. It could be a social media feed that keeps feeding you comparison and negativity. It could even be a habit you've allowed into your daily life. Something that steals your focus, wastes your time, or feeds your doubts. You don't have to cut out everything all at once. That's overwhelming and often unrealistic. But you can choose one, the one that you know deep down has been holding you back the most. The one that, if removed, would create a noticeable shift in how you feel and how you think. Before you remove it, you have to identify it. Take a hard look at your daily life. Who do you spend the most time with? What do you spend the most time doing? How do you feel after spending time in certain places or around certain people? If something consistently leaves you feeling drained, unmotivated, or doubting yourself, that's a sign it's a negative influence. Sometimes, the hardest part is admitting that something or someone you've gotten used to is not good for you. It can be uncomfortable, but change doesn't happen in comfort zones. If you want your life to shift, you have to be willing to make decisions that protect your energy, your mindset, and your future. Once you've identified the influence, the next step is to create distance. This doesn't always mean cutting someone off completely. In some cases, it just means limiting the time you spend with them or changing the way you interact. If it's a person who always complains, steer conversations toward positive or productive topics, and if they keep going back to negativity, keep your interaction short. If it's social media, unfollow accounts that trigger negativity and replace them with ones that inspire or educate you. If it's a habit like watching hours of pointless content late at night, replace it with something that actually serves you: reading, learning, resting. The change won't just be in the action you take, but in the space you create. When you remove a negative influence, you open up room for positive ones to grow. You start thinking more clearly. You have more emotional energy to invest in the things that matter. You stop wasting mental strength trying to fight off the weight of constant negativity. And you'll notice something else: your standards will rise. Once you get used to an environment without that negative pull, you'll be less willing to tolerate it again. You'll naturally start protecting your space more, making sure only the right influences get in. That's when you'll start seeing real progress, because you're no longer working against constant resistance. There's also an emotional benefit that most people overlook: the sense of control you gain. So many people feel stuck because they think life is happening to them. But the moment you choose to remove a negative influence, you take back control. You're no longer passively accepting whatever comes into your space. You're actively shaping it. That shift in mindset is powerful. It's the kind of change that ripples into every part of your life. At first it might feel uncomfortable. If the negative influence has been in your life for a long time, removing it can feel like you're losing something familiar. But give it time. That space you create will soon be filled with something better: better people, better habits, better opportunities. And you'll realize you didn't lose anything important. You simply made room for what you truly needed. Remember, this isn't about living in isolation or trying to control everything around you. It's about creating an environment where you can grow without being pulled down. Just like you can't grow healthy plants in toxic soil, you can't grow into your best self in a toxic environment. You don't need to do it all at once. You just need to start with one. Pick the biggest source of negativity in your environment. Make a decision today to create distance from it. Keep that space protected. Over time, you'll notice your mindset becoming stronger, your motivation lasting longer, and your life moving in the direction you want it to. That's the power of removing one negative influence. It's a small decision that can create a massive shift, not because it changes everything around you overnight, but because it changes the environment you're living in every single day. And when your environment changes, your life follows. Chapter 3. Start your day with a consistent morning routine. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. When your mornings are chaotic, rushed, or unplanned, it's easy for the rest of your day to feel scattered and reactive. But when you start your day with intention and consistency, you create a sense of control that carries through into everything you do. A consistent morning routine isn't about doing what everyone else is doing. It's about creating a set of actions that prepare you mentally, physically, and emotionally for the day ahead. It's about starting your morning with structure instead of leaving it to chance. The first thing to understand is that your morning routine doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't have to take hours. What matters is that it's consistent, that you repeat the same sequence of actions every day until it becomes second nature. Because when your morning has structure, you don't waste mental energy deciding what to do next. You just do it. And that frees up focus and willpower for the rest of the day. Think about the mornings when you've woken up late, skipped breakfast, scrolled on your phone, and rushed out the door. By the time you reach your first real task, your mind is already distracted and your energy is scattered. Compare that to a morning where you wake up on time, hydrate, move your body, and take a few minutes to plan your day. The difference isn't just in how you feel, it's in how you perform for the next 8 to 12 hours. A good morning routine starts the night before. If you're going to wake up feeling ready, you need enough rest. That means setting a bedtime and sticking to it. It means preparing small things ahead of time, like laying out your clothes or prepping your breakfast so your morning starts smoothly. When you wake up, avoid diving straight into distractions. Checking your phone first thing in the morning floods your mind with information and noise before you've even had a chance to think for yourself. Give yourself a buffer before you let the outside world in. Those first 30 to 60 minutes should belong to you. Include actions in your routine that help you physically wake up and mentally focus. For example, drink water as soon as you get up to rehydrate. Spend a few minutes moving your body, stretching, a short walk, light exercise to increase blood flow and energy. Take time for a mental reset, journaling, meditating, reading something uplifting, or simply reviewing your goals for the day. Eat a balanced breakfast, or at least fuel yourself with something that gives you steady energy. The details are personal. Some people thrive with 20 minutes of exercise in the morning. Others just need 5 minutes of stretching and breathing. The point is not to copy someone else's exact steps. The point is to create a sequence that sets you up to perform at your best. Consistency is what makes this powerful. If you wake up early and follow your routine once in a while, it won't make much difference. But when you do it every day, it becomes part of your identity. You start your mornings feeling prepared and in control, and that feeling carries into your work, your relationships, and your decisions. There's also a deeper benefit. A consistent morning routine builds discipline. Every morning you're proving to yourself that you can follow through on what you said you'd do. That builds confidence, not just in your ability to stick to a routine, but in your ability to handle challenges. If you can keep a promise to yourself before the day even begins, you're more likely to keep your promises throughout the day. You might face resistance in the beginning. Waking up earlier can feel uncomfortable. Making time for a routine might seem impossible if your mornings are already busy. But remember, the goal is not perfection. The goal is to improve your mornings step by step. You can start with just 2 or 3 actions and build from there. The shift happens when you realize your morning is no longer something that happens to you. It's something you control. You decide how to begin, what to focus on, and how to prepare yourself for the day ahead. That control builds momentum, and momentum in the morning often means momentum in every area of life. When you combine this with the other changes, removing negative influences, committing to one habit, you'll see how these small, consistent actions create a ripple effect. You'll feel more focused, you'll manage your time better, you'll respond to challenges more calmly. And all of it starts with the decision to start your day with purpose every day. If you want your entire life to shift, protect your mornings, make them yours. Fill them with actions that strengthen you instead of draining you. Commit to your routine and watch how it shapes not just your day, but the person you're becoming. Chapter 4. Replace one unhealthy food with a nutritious option. Changing your entire diet overnight is overwhelming. That's why so many people start strong for a week, then go right back to old habits. The truth is, you don't need to overhaul everything at once to see results. One small, consistent swap can make a noticeable difference over time, and it starts with replacing just one unhealthy food with a nutritious option. The reason this works is simple. Most of your health, energy, and even mood comes down to what you eat on a daily basis. Food isn't just about calories. It's about how your body feels, how your mind functions, and how much energy you have to face your day. Even one unhealthy choice, repeated over and over, can affect your energy, your focus, and even your motivation. Think about one food or drink you know isn't doing you any good. It might be soda, deep-fried snacks, sugary desserts, processed fast food, or even something you've been eating out of habit without really thinking about it. You already know it's not helping you. The problem is, you've gotten used to it. It's easy, it's familiar, and it gives you short-term satisfaction. Now imagine swapping that one thing for something that fuels you instead of slowing you down. If you drink soda every day, replace it with water infused with lemon or cucumber. If you grab a bag of chips every afternoon, replace it with a handful of nuts and fresh fruit. If you end your day with heavy, greasy food, swap it for a lighter meal with lean protein and vegetables. You don't have to make it perfect, just make it better. The goal isn't to completely avoid every unhealthy thing forever. The goal is to create a habit of making better choices without feeling deprived. When you replace rather than remove, you're giving yourself something new to enjoy, instead of just taking something away. The real benefit of this one swap is in how it makes you feel. Within a week or two, you might notice more energy in the morning, fewer crashes in the afternoon, and better focus throughout the day. You might find it easier to stick to other positive habits because you're no longer constantly fighting fatigue or cravings. There's also a psychological shift. Every time you choose the healthier option, you reinforce the belief that you can control your choices. That confidence grows. You start to see yourself as someone who cares about their health and follows through. That identity will make it easier to make other changes later. Start by identifying the one swap that will give you the biggest impact. If sugar is your biggest weakness, tackle that first. If you eat too much fried food, swap it out for something baked or grilled. Don't try to replace 3 or 4 things at once. Focus on the one that you know is holding you back the most. Make your replacement easy to access. If you're swapping soda for water, keep a reusable water bottle with you. If you're replacing a processed snack, keep fresh options ready in your fridge or bag, so you're not tempted to grab the old one. Convenience matters. The easier you make the healthier choice, the more likely you'll stick to it. You might face cravings at first. That's normal. Your body and brain have been used to the old choice, and change takes time. When the craving hits, remind yourself why you made the swap in the first place. Focus on how you want to feel, not just how you want to eat. Every time you choose the new option, you're moving closer to the version of yourself you want to be. Over time, something interesting happens. The healthier choice becomes your normal. The old option stops feeling as tempting because you've built a new habit. Your taste buds adapt, your energy improves, and you start associating your food choices with feeling better, not just tasting good in the moment. Once that swap becomes second nature, you can choose another. Maybe you replace sugary cereal with oatmeal and fruit. Maybe you swap ice cream for Greek yogurt with berries. Each change builds on the last, but it all starts with one, and that one can be enough to create real momentum. This isn't about dieting, it's about building a lifestyle that supports the life you want to live. Food is fuel, and when you choose better fuel, you function at a higher level. You think clearer, move faster, and have the energy to follow through on your goals. If you want to shift your life, start with something you do every day. Replacing one unhealthy food with a nutritious option is a simple, clear, and powerful way to start. It's proof that big change can come from small, consistent choices. And when you master this, you'll see that change doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. Chapter 5. Dedicate 10 minutes daily to learning something new. Growth isn't accidental. The people who achieve more, think faster, and adapt better aren't necessarily more talented. They make one small but consistent choice. They dedicate time to learning every single day. You don't need hours, books, or complex systems to start. 10 minutes a day is enough to create momentum that compounds over weeks, months, and years. The first step is realizing that learning isn't just for school. Life doesn't stop teaching once formal education ends. Every day brings opportunities to expand your mind, improve your skills, and deepen your understanding. Yet most people ignore this. They spend hours consuming entertainment, scrolling through social media, or repeating the same routines, while their knowledge, perspective, and abilities remain stagnant. 10 minutes a day can change that. Think about it in small increments. 10 minutes might sound insignificant at first, but every minute you dedicate adds up. In 1 week, that's 70 minutes. In a month, that's over 6 hours. In a year, it's more than 70 hours of focused learning. 70 hours of progress that most people don't even come close to achieving simply because they didn't start. The beauty of this habit is that it's flexible. Learning doesn't need to be formal or complicated. It can be reading an article that challenges your thinking, watching a short educational video, listening to a podcast that teaches a skill, or reviewing notes on a subject you want to master. The key is consistency and focus. For 10 minutes, you're fully committed to learning something new. No distractions, no multitasking, no excuses. When you dedicate even a short amount of time daily, your brain begins to form a routine of growth. You train yourself to prioritize learning instead of instant gratification. You start noticing gaps in your knowledge that you want to fill. You become more curious, more aware, and more intentional with your choices. That curiosity alone begins to shift your perspective on life. It's not about speed or quantity. 10 minutes is not meant to overwhelm you. It's meant to be achievable, repeatable, and consistent. When a habit is small and manageable, it's easier to stick to. 10 minutes may feel like a drop in the ocean, but the drops accumulate. Over time, this small daily effort becomes a force multiplier in your life. Choose what to learn wisely. Start with topics that excite you or skills that will make a real difference in your life. If you want to improve professionally, focus on knowledge that enhances your career. If you want to grow personally, study philosophy, psychology, or history. If you want better health, learn about nutrition, exercise, or mindfulness. The content should be practical, applicable, and inspiring enough to keep you coming back every day. 10 minutes a day also builds discipline. Showing up consistently, even when you're tired, busy, or distracted, reinforces your ability to follow through. You're proving to yourself that your commitments matter. That confidence spreads into other areas of life, your habits, relationships, work, and goals. Every day you commit 10 minutes to learning is another day you strengthen your self-trust. The emotional impact is immediate, even if subtle. After a few weeks, you notice a sharper mind, more interesting conversations, and a greater sense of control over your personal growth. You start seeing connections in ideas, patterns in behavior, and solutions to problems that would have been invisible before. That 10-minute daily habit starts shaping the way you think and act without you even realizing it. You'll encounter resistance. There will be mornings or evenings when you feel tired or unmotivated. You might think you don't have time. That's when you have to commit to the principle of small, consistent action. 10 minutes isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up repeatedly. Missing one day doesn't erase the progress you've made. Returning the next day does. Over months and years, this habit compounds in ways you cannot predict. Knowledge, builds on knowledge. Skills improve. Perspective deepens. Your ability to make decisions, solve problems, and adapt grows exponentially. The 10 minutes you dedicate daily becomes an investment that pays dividends far beyond what you could imagine at the start. This habit also influences your environment. People notice when you are consistently learning, when your ideas are informed, when your mindset is expanding. You attract individuals who value growth, opportunities that require skill, and situations that challenge you to think bigger. That small commitment transforms not just you, but the space around you. The principle is simple: start small, stay consistent, and watch the long-term effects. 10 minutes of learning a day is a habit almost anyone can maintain. It doesn't require dramatic life changes, special equipment, or extraordinary discipline. What it does require is a decision to value growth over comfort, progress over stagnation, and action over procrastination. When you dedicate 10 minutes daily to learning something new, you take control of your personal evolution. You shift from reacting to life to actively shaping it. Over time, the person you become is far beyond who you were when you first started. It all begins with that single, simple, consistent step: 10 minutes every day. Chapter 6. Practice gratitude for one thing every single day. Life can feel heavy if you focus only on what's missing, what's wrong, or what isn't going your way. Most people live with a constant sense of scarcity because they overlook the simple power of noticing what is already working, what is already present, and what is already good. Practicing gratitude changes that. By focusing on one thing every day that you are grateful for, you can start reshaping your mindset, your energy, and even the way life unfolds for you. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about ignoring challenges or failures. It's about recognizing that even in the midst of struggle, there are aspects of your life that deserve attention, care, and appreciation. That recognition shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, and that shift is powerful. Start with one thing. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be as simple as a meal that nourished you, the support of a friend, the roof over your head, or the fact that you woke up this morning with your health intact. Small things are enough because the habit of noticing is more important than the magnitude of what you notice. Over time, small daily recognitions accumulate into a mindset that naturally looks for positives instead of dwelling on negatives. When you practice gratitude consistently, you train your brain to seek opportunities, connections, and blessings. You stop automatically focusing on what's going wrong and begin noticing what's going right. That doesn't just make you feel better emotionally, it improves your clarity, focus, and even your ability to handle challenges. A grateful mind sees solutions where a frustrated mind only sees problems. The habit also strengthens your relationships. When you acknowledge and appreciate the people around you, even in small ways, they feel valued. That strengthens trust and respect. Expressing gratitude can be as simple as sending a message, saying a word of thanks, or silently appreciating someone's presence in your life. The more you notice and recognize others, the more you cultivate connection and positivity in your environment. Gratitude is a mental habit, but it can be made concrete through action. Some people write down one thing they are grateful for each day in a journal. Others share it verbally, perhaps with a friend, a family member, or even aloud to themselves. The key is consistency. Each day, identify one thing, acknowledge it, and feel the impact. Doing this daily strengthens your ability to maintain perspective even when circumstances are difficult. Emotionally, gratitude has a stabilizing effect. Life throws challenges at everyone. Stress, frustration, disappointment, and setbacks are unavoidable, but gratitude gives you a lens to see beyond the immediate pain or difficulty. It helps you recognize that life is not just problems, it is also opportunity, growth, and moments worth noticing. That awareness reduces the weight of negativity and increases your resilience. One thing to remember is that the practice works best when it's intentional. Don't just think in passing that you're grateful. Pause, reflect, feel it, connect with it fully. When you take time to recognize and internalize the positive aspect of your life, you amplify its effect. That feeling of appreciation creates a feedback loop. The more you notice, the more you feel, and the more you naturally start noticing additional positives. Practicing gratitude daily also shifts your perspective on your goals. Instead of always chasing what's next, you appreciate where you are now. That doesn't mean complacency, it means clarity. You can recognize progress you've already made, which fuels motivation for the steps still ahead. Gratitude doesn't slow you down, it gives you energy to continue moving forward with focus and confidence. It's important to note that the one thing you choose doesn't need to be the same every day. Life offers countless things to be grateful for, and by varying your focus, you expand your awareness of the richness around you. Today it could be your health, tomorrow it could be the support of a colleague, the next day it could be a quiet moment of peace. Variety strengthens the habit and ensures that gratitude becomes a natural part of how you view the world. Over time, practicing gratitude every single day transforms the way you experience life. Challenges feel less overwhelming, achievements feel more meaningful, and ordinary moments feel more significant. You start to realize that happiness and fulfillment are not distant destinations. They are found in the simple act of noticing and appreciating what is already present. The real shift happens not in theory, but in practice. It begins the moment you commit to identifying one thing every day and honoring it fully. At first it may feel small or even forced, but persistence is what matters. As the days pass, the habit embeds itself in your mind and heart. You start seeing more positives naturally, your attitude shifts, and your life gradually transforms. One daily act of gratitude may seem insignificant, but its effects ripple through your mindset, relationships, decisions, and overall sense of well-being. That single habit can reduce stress, improve focus, strengthen your resilience, and create a foundation for more consistent growth. By practicing gratitude for one thing every day, you are making a choice to focus on life's opportunities rather than its obstacles. That choice alone is enough to shift your entire life over time. Chapter 7. Reduce social media use by 1 specific hour daily. Most people don't realize how much time they spend scrolling through social media until they stop to take an honest look. Hours slip away in endless feeds, stories, and notifications. By the end of the day, they feel drained, distracted, and unaccomplished. Yet they wonder why progress feels slow. Reducing social media use by even 1 specific hour each day can create a profound shift in your energy, focus, and productivity. Social media isn't inherently bad. It connects us, informs us, and provides entertainment. The problem arises when usage becomes automatic, mindless, or excessive. When you spend time on platforms without intention, it's easy to lose track of time and purpose. That lost hour might seem small in the moment, but over weeks and months, it adds up to dozens of hours that could have been spent learning, creating, reflecting, or improving yourself. Start by identifying the hour you're willing to reclaim. It could be the first hour in the morning when your mind is fresh, or it could be the evening hour before bed, which often has the biggest impact on sleep quality and mental calm. The key is consistency. Pick the same hour every day to step away from social media completely. During this hour, replace scrolling with activities that contribute to your growth or well-being. You could read a book, journal, plan your day, exercise, meditate, or learn a new skill. The goal is to fill the time with something purposeful that leaves you feeling accomplished rather than drained. This creates a clear contrast between passive consumption and intentional action. The impact of this single hour is both practical and psychological. Practically, you gain time, real, usable time that you control. Psychologically, you build discipline. You train yourself to resist automatic impulses and reclaim control over your attention. That control is a skill that extends far beyond social media. It improves focus, decision-making, and productivity across every area of life. You'll likely notice resistance in the beginning. Social media is designed to grab your attention and keep you scrolling. You might feel restless or bored during that first hour of reduction. That discomfort is natural. What matters is that you don't give in. By enduring it, you train your brain to tolerate silence, focus, and intentional action. And that's where the real growth begins. 1 hour might seem small, but consider the cumulative effect. If you reclaim 1 hour every day, that's 7 hours a week. That's 30 hours a month. 30 hours a month is the equivalent of nearly an entire workweek of productive, focused time that you've added to your life. 1 hour may feel minor now, but in the long run, it becomes a significant advantage. Another key aspect is mindfulness. Being aware of your social media usage, when, why, and how you use it, changes the way you approach it. You stop mindlessly scrolling out of habit and start questioning whether each session is serving you. That awareness alone shifts behavior, often leading to more meaningful use of social media rather than endless consumption. Reducing 1 hour also improves mental health. Excessive social media can amplify stress, comparison, and distraction. By stepping away, you create space for reflection, calm, and emotional balance. You allow your mind to rest from constant input, which improves focus, decision-making, and overall clarity. That mental space is essential for personal growth and achieving long-term goals. The habit also strengthens self-control. Every time you honor your commitment to step away for that hour, you reinforce the belief that your actions are intentional. You are no longer a passive consumer of whatever appears in your feed. You are in control of your attention, your time, and ultimately your life. Over time, this hour of reclaimed focus multiplies. You may find yourself discovering new interests, reading more, exercising more, or working on personal goals that were previously ignored. The single hour creates momentum. It reminds you that time is a resource to be managed carefully. It teaches the value of conscious choices, and those lessons ripple through all areas of your life. It's important to approach this with patience. You don't need to eliminate social media entirely, and you don't need to feel guilty for using it outside the chosen hour. The power comes from intentional reduction, not perfection. That intentionality is what shifts your mindset and your life over time. By reclaiming 1 hour daily, you create a small but consistent change that compounds. It's a tangible example of how a single adjustment can influence productivity, focus, energy, and mental clarity. 1 hour is manageable, realistic, and powerful because it's sustained every day, proving that change doesn't have to be extreme to be effective. The shift begins the moment you make the decision. By reducing 1 hour of social media, you take control of your time, strengthen your discipline, improve your mental clarity, and create space for meaningful growth. Over weeks and months, that simple choice becomes a habit that not only changes your day, but begins to shift your life. Chapter 8. Set one small achievable goal for the next week. Progress in life doesn't come from overwhelming yourself with dozens of objectives at once. Real change begins with focus, with clarity about what matters most, and taking deliberate steps toward it. One of the most effective ways to create momentum is to set one small achievable goal for the next week. That single goal becomes your point of focus, a tangible way to measure your commitment and your ability to follow through. The key is in the word small. When a goal feels too large or distant, it triggers resistance and procrastination. We avoid what feels impossible, but a goal that is small, realistic, and within reach invites action. It doesn't require monumental effort to get started. It requires clarity, intention, and daily attention. When you see yourself completing a small goal, it builds confidence, motivation, and belief in your ability to succeed. Begin by identifying what area of your life needs the most attention. It could be health, learning, productivity, relationships, or personal development. Once you identify the area, narrow your focus to one specific, actionable goal. Avoid vague objectives like be healthier or read more. Instead, define it clearly. Walk for 20 minutes each day, or read one chapter of a book every night. Clear goals make it easy to track progress and maintain accountability. A small goal for the week also reduces stress. When life feels busy or overwhelming, it's easy to get paralyzed by the thought of everything that needs to be done. Focusing on just one achievable goal gives structure to your week. It provides clarity about where to invest your energy, and that clarity alone can boost productivity and motivation. Consistency is crucial. A goal isn't meaningful if it's only attempted sporadically. The purpose of setting a small goal for the week is to create a pattern of follow-through. Each day you make incremental progress. By the end of the week, you'll have tangible evidence of achievement, which reinforces the habit of action. Success doesn't always come from dramatic results. It comes from repeated small victories. There is also a psychological advantage. Completing a small goal proves to yourself that you can set an intention and follow through. It strengthens your self-trust. That confidence then carries into other areas of life. You start to believe in your ability to handle larger challenges because you've proven yourself with something manageable first. One small goal acts as a bridge between inaction and bigger achievements. Tracking progress is essential. Write your goal down where you can see it every day. Check it off or record your completion. This simple act of marking progress reinforces the habit and provides a sense of accomplishment. When you visually see that you are following through, it motivates you to continue and adds momentum to your efforts. Your goal should be measurable. Ambiguous goals are difficult to achieve because you don't know when success has been reached. If your goal is to read, define how many pages or chapters. If it's to exercise, define duration or number of sessions. Measurable goals create clarity, which reduces friction and increases accountability. Choosing one small goal also protects your focus. Most people scatter their attention across too many objectives and fail at all of them. Focusing on one goal ensures that your energy is concentrated. You're not wasting effort on multiple fronts. That single focus makes success more attainable and meaningful. It's important to approach your weekly goal with flexibility. Life will inevitably present challenges or interruptions. If you miss a day, it doesn't mean failure. What matters is that you return to the goal with the same intention. The habit of follow-through, the discipline to keep trying, is more important than perfection. Each attempt builds resilience and reinforces your commitment to growth. The compounding effect of this practice is significant. 1 week of consistent small goals develops momentum. Each completed goal increases confidence, improves discipline, and reinforces the habit of taking action. Over time, small weekly goals accumulate into major transformations. The person you become after weeks of consistently achieving small objectives is far ahead of the person who never starts. Finally, setting one small achievable goal each week teaches clarity, focus, and accountability. You learn to define what truly matters, prioritize your energy, and take consistent action. That skill translates to every area of life. By doing this week after week, month after month, your life shifts not because of one dramatic change, but because of small, consistent, deliberate actions that compound into lasting results. This approach proves that transformation doesn't require massive effort or extraordinary circumstances. It begins with one small, intentional choice, a goal for the week, and the commitment to see it through. When repeated, that single step becomes a habit, a skill, and eventually a lifestyle. Your entire life begins to shift from the momentum of small, achievable victories. Chapter 9. Spend 10 minutes daily reflecting on your progress. Progress doesn't happen by accident. Even when you are taking action, it's easy to lose sight of how far you've come, which can lead to frustration, doubt, or feeling stuck. One of the most powerful habits you can build is taking 10 minutes every day to reflect on your progress. This simple act creates clarity, reinforces momentum, and strengthens your focus for the next steps in your journey. Reflection is more than just thinking about what you did today. It's a conscious evaluation of your actions, choices, and outcomes. It's asking yourself questions like, what went well? What didn't go as planned? What can I adjust tomorrow? These moments of introspection allow you to learn from experience, identify patterns, and make better decisions moving forward. Spending 10 minutes reflecting daily ensures that small wins don't go unnoticed. Life is filled with moments of achievement that feel minor at the time, but when accumulated, they create momentum and confidence. Taking time to recognize those wins reinforces your sense of progress. Every small accomplishment becomes a reminder that your efforts are producing results, even if they aren't dramatic. Reflection also builds awareness of areas that need improvement. Without it, mistakes or unproductive habits often repeat themselves. By reviewing your actions daily, you can spot patterns, recognize obstacles, and adjust your strategies before they become bigger problems. This is a proactive approach to growth, using insight from your own experience to guide future choices. The habit of daily reflection strengthens discipline and accountability. By dedicating time to evaluate your progress, you are holding yourself responsible for your own growth. You are not waiting for external feedback or approval. You are tracking your journey personally, which increases self-trust and reinforces the idea that your actions directly impact your results. Reflection can be structured or informal, depending on what works best for you. Some people write in a journal, noting achievements, challenges, and lessons learned. Others speak aloud, summarizing their day and considering what they could do differently tomorrow. The format isn't as important as the commitment to spend focused time reviewing your day and your actions. During reflection, it's important to be honest but also constructive. Avoid harsh self-criticism, which can be demotivating. Instead, focus on identifying actionable insights. Ask yourself what worked and why, what didn't work and why, and what small adjustments could improve tomorrow. This approach turns reflection into a tool for progress rather than a source of guilt. Another benefit of daily reflection is increased clarity about priorities. When you review your day consistently, you start noticing which actions contribute the most to your goals and which don't. That insight allows you to make better decisions about where to invest your energy. Over time, you spend less effort on distractions and more on actions that produce meaningful results. Reflection also improves emotional resilience. Life inevitably presents setbacks and challenges. When you take time daily to reflect, you develop perspective. You can distinguish between temporary obstacles and patterns that need attention. That awareness reduces stress, increases adaptability, and strengthens confidence in your ability to navigate challenges. Consistency is key. 10 minutes may seem small, but when done daily, it compounds into a powerful habit. Over weeks and months, this habit builds a clear record of your journey. You begin to notice growth that might have gone unnoticed without this intentional pause. You see patterns of success, identify recurring challenges, and gain insight into the actions that truly drive results. Reflection also fuels motivation. When you review progress, you reinforce the connection between effort and outcome. You can see that consistent action, even in small amounts, produces tangible results. That awareness keeps momentum alive, making it easier to continue pursuing your goals with focus and energy. The habit of daily reflection creates a feedback loop that accelerates personal growth. Action leads to reflection, reflection leads to insight, and insight guides better action. This cycle becomes a self-reinforcing mechanism that continuously improves performance, mindset, and results. 10 minutes of reflection is small in time but enormous in impact. Over time, reflection becomes a natural part of your routine. You start noticing improvements automatically, making adjustments intuitively, and celebrating small victories without being prompted. Your life begins to shift because you are no longer acting blindly. Every choice is informed by insight and self-awareness, which drastically increases the likelihood of success. Daily reflection is also a form of self-care. It allows you to pause, acknowledge your efforts, and connect with your personal growth journey. It reminds you that progress isn't always visible externally, but it exists internally, shaping the person you are becoming. That awareness cultivates patience, persistence, and a deeper sense of satisfaction. By spending 10 minutes each day reflecting on your progress, you take control of your growth, reinforce your achievements, and gain clarity about what to do next. This simple habit builds momentum, strengthens self-trust, and ensures that your actions consistently align with your goals. Reflection turns daily effort into meaningful progress and creates a foundation for lasting change. Chapter 10. Replace one complaint with a constructive action step. Complaining is something nearly everyone does, often without realizing it. It feels like a natural response when things go wrong or don't meet expectations. But complaining, especially when repeated, has a hidden cost. It drains your energy, reinforces a victim mindset, and keeps you focused on problems instead of solutions. Replacing even one complaint with a constructive action step can shift your mindset, your energy, and ultimately your life. The first thing to understand is that complaining itself doesn't solve problems. Saying the same frustration over and over can make you feel temporarily better, but it doesn't create change. Action does. When you replace a complaint with a specific, achievable step toward improvement, you take control of the situation. You shift from passivity to empowerment. Start by becoming aware of your complaints. Notice the things you complain about most frequently. work situations, relationships, your habits, or even the environment around you. Awareness is critical because you can't change what you don't recognize. Keep track mentally, or even write down one complaint each day that surfaces repeatedly. Once you identify a complaint, immediately ask, what is one action I can take to improve this? The action should be realistic, small, and within your control. It's not about changing everything at once or solving every problem perfectly. It's about doing something constructive that moves you forward. For example, if you complain about feeling tired every morning, the action could be setting a consistent bedtime. If you complain about lack of focus at work, the action could be creating a 30-minute distraction-free block. Replacing complaints with actions changes your internal dialogue. Complaining reinforces a sense of helplessness and frustration. Action reinforces control and progress. Each time you choose action over complaint, you strengthen your belief in your ability to influence outcomes, which in turn builds confidence and resilience. This habit also impacts your relationships. People who complain frequently can drain others' energy and create negative dynamics. By focusing on action instead, you not only improve your life, but you also inspire those around you. Others notice when you move from criticism to solution-oriented behavior, and that can shift the energy of your environment positively. It's important to recognize that the goal isn't to eliminate complaints completely. Complaints are a natural signal that something needs attention. The key is to use them as prompts for action, not as ways to vent endlessly. One complaint replaced with a constructive step is progress. Over time, this habit rewires your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems. Consistency is what makes this habit transformative. Replace one complaint each day, and you begin to see patterns in your behavior. You learn which areas of your life need adjustment and which actions produce results. That insight allows you to address issues before they grow and reinforces a proactive, solution-oriented mindset. There will be challenges. Old habits die hard, and complaining can feel automatic. You may find yourself slipping back into old patterns, especially under stress or fatigue. The difference is awareness. As soon as you notice the complaint, pause and redirect your energy toward a constructive step. That pause, even brief, is enough to start changing your mindset gradually. The benefits compound over time. When one complaint is replaced with action consistently, you notice more control over your life. Problems feel less overwhelming because you are actively addressing them. Your energy increases because you are no longer spending it on negativity. Your mindset shifts from frustration to empowerment, from stagnation to growth. This habit also teaches problem-solving skills. Each complaint becomes an opportunity to identify a solution, experiment, and learn from results. Over time, you become more resourceful, adaptable, and confident in your ability to navigate challenges. The practice of turning complaints into action strengthens both your practical skills and your mindset. The impact reaches beyond your own life. By modeling action over complaint, you influence your environment positively. People around you may begin to shift their own mindset as they witness your proactive approach. One simple choice can create a ripple effect that improves not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Ultimately, replacing one complaint with a constructive action step demonstrates that change is within your control. Complaints keep you stuck in the problem. Action moves you forward. This small but consistent habit transforms how you respond to challenges, improves your relationships, increases your confidence, and gradually reshapes your life. The power lies in repetition. Each day you replace one complaint with a practical action. You reinforce a mindset of growth, responsibility, and empowerment. Over weeks and months, that single habit compounds into a profound shift, proving that lasting change doesn't require dramatic actions. It requires consistent, focused, and intentional choices. By practicing this habit daily, you create a life that is defined not by problems, excuses, or frustrations, but by solutions, progress, and forward momentum. Complaining becomes unnecessary because action becomes your default response. That shift alone has the power to transform your entire life, one small step at a time.